Um, Democracy is often said or defined that it's the government of people for the people by the people. Or, in brief, it's actually been defined as the rule by the people. And how do people rule? People rule by actually voting somebody to actually represent them. And you can only rule by acknowledging that the person who is ahead of you or whom you're choosing, he represent your ideas, or you are able to be close to their ideas. Probably you are in line with their ideas. That's literally what democracy means. Sometimes actually what amazes me is I'm wondering if democracy is sometimes an illusion or is actually what it says it is, or what it defines itself to be. It's what actually it means. Because this is kind of like, I don't know. That's how I really look at it. I look at how other countries practice their democracy, and sometimes I'm like, it feels like every country defines its democracy differently. Some countries say that, you know what, if people are the one that choose, then that leader can be elected day after day, probably term after term, and he can lead the country for like 30 years. But guess what? The people are the one electing, and they made a choice to have that person in place for so long. And that one is also defined as democracy. Democracy, because people are selecting people, that's people's choices. And on the other side, you can find whereby a person is changed and let me say, like, you rule for 1 year, 1 term, and then you leave, and then somebody else comes in, and then after that person rules for a certain period of time, and then you're able to come back, and then you can really rule. You can even rule for whatever years, and then you leave. So every country somehow defines democracy in different way. But in conclusion, I'm always asking if democracy is an illusion, because there are things that you find, like, you thought that actually the one who made a choice, and the person is in leadership, and actually the person happens to change, and it's not actually lining with what is spoken about. So prior to his being a president or a leader or prime minister, he's spoken about certain issues which caused you to go and vote a person. But now that that person is in leadership, is actually not really following, is not in line with actually what is spoken about. And that makes me wonder if actually democracy is kind of like an illusion. When you think about magicians, they actually tell you to look on the right, or probably they are doing something on the right, but they are doing something that you don't see on the left. And they make you focus on something, but actually they are doing something else different. That's how magicians are. And sometimes I'm wondering if politicians politicians are magicians, and the definition of democracy is, for us, that's what we think. But yet, as politicians, they define democracy in a different way. What would you think? That's my thinking. Think about it. The way politicians respond or react after being elected in government is actually sometimes the opposite than actually what you elected them for. My question would be, is my definition of democracy the same definition that they have, or their definition is actually different? You know what I'm saying? Is their definition different than how I understand the definition of democracy? Because if it's different, then that politicians actually are magicians. That's how I think about it. They make you think like this, yet they are actually thinking something different. I hope it makes sense. Yeah. it's just politics that I thought about, and I thought it was interesting to share with you. God bless you, and see you next time.